Hello, munchkins. Oh, it's so nice when you don't fight. You're so cute.
Hello my darling and welcome to a new reading vlog. So I'm going to start off with scrolling down to the oldest book on my Kobo for a read it or delete it Kobo cull. The oldest book is The Doll Who Ate His Mother by Ramsey Campbell. Bubbles just came. Say hi, Bubbles. Hi. Okay, The Doll Who Ate His Mother has a 3.36 rating. It's 284 pages. It is a horror thriller. Oh, that's going to bug me in editing. The description is, it was a freak accident. The man had suddenly stepped into the road and the brakes had failed. Claire could only steer wildly, the car finally crashing into a tree and onto the curb. Now her brother Rob was dead, silent in the passenger seat, slumped against the door. He died of massive head injuries. But there was something else. His right arm was missing. Someone had taken it. What the fuck is this book about? What do you mean? I don't understand. But hopefully I'll like it. Hopefully I shall like it. So that's the Kobo cull option. Now let's go on to the tarot card pull. So I'm just going to shuffle the very few prompts. This one we're going with. Okay. So today we're doing Wheel of Fortune, and Wheel of Fortune is the first book I see on booktube. Brah! Okay, let's just go on to booktube. Okay, the first video is Spring 2026 new releases that I couldn't wait for. Did they deliver by Tina Books?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, dear. Okay. I actually have tried that and then I DNF'd it. So this is about a woman who is a tradwife influencer and then she gets stuck in the past, in the 1800s, and has to be an actual tradwife, churning that butter, bro, churn the butter. I hated this book. I hated the main character. She was a bitch. She was very unlikable. I didn't understand her motivations for anything. This book then plays into mental illness. I really just did not enjoy anything about this book at all. So I did DNF that. So I will not be going on to that. So I'm just going to scrub through until she goes on to a different book.
I haven't even told you about it. It is Boring Asian Female. And
Boring Asian Female.
Fantastic.
Okay. Yes. I think my library does have a copy of that. So I will be putting Boring Asian Female onto my TBR. So thank you very much, Tina. And aside from that, I will be going on to this arc that I received, Daughters of the Tide by Ariane James. And I have started already A Good Person by Kirsten King. I am only 34 pages into it, so I don't want to tell you about it yet, but this is a highly anticipated read and I'm hoping it is. Oh, I kind of match. Kind of. I'm hoping it is fantastic because I would love to own a copy of the other alternative cover to this one, but we shall see. So far, so good. So far, I am liking it. Our main girlie is a little unhinged. So those are the books so far. I am just going to go and sunbake the rest of the day because we've been given a free pass of very late autumn, warm, sunny days. So yeah, I will be sunning my buns this entire week. And I'm sure that will be the end of the warm, sunny weather.
Two kitties on the towel. So cute. Yep, for one. You don't like anything on this side? Check the other side. What'd you pick? Yeah. All right, pop it in.
Hello lovelies, let me update you on what I've been doing. So I did watch a movie. I watched Marie Antoinette. I actually have never seen this film, so I thought it was time to rectify that. This is based on the real figure Maria Antonia, who was an Austrian princess that was betrothed to the King of France, and she became the Queen Marie Antoinette. However, her story does end in tragedy with a French Revolution and beheadings. I think this movie, it's very pretty, it's frilly, it's delicate, it's sumptuous. It is like a frosted cake. They don't show a lot of the tragedy, so it is more light-hearted and romantic. But I did enjoy the movie. I would give it a 3.75. Also, thank you, Zach, for your donation to the channel. I was reading The Doll Who Ate His Mother, which was my Kobo Cull choice. Unfortunately, the writing style and I did not get along. It felt like taffy stuck in my teeth. I just found it very clunky and not enjoyable, so I did DNF that. I was meant to read Boring Asian Female, thanks to Tina's video. My library does have it on order, and that can mean it might come in next week or it might come in next year. There is absolutely no timeline when it comes to books that are on order. So I thought, okay, let's just pick another book from that video. And luckily for me, she also read A Good Person by Kirsten King in that video. So that is my choice for the tarot card prompt. So I was reading this. This is about Lillian, and Lillian hooks up with this guy named Henry. She decides he's boyfriend material. So she's on a quest to secure the man bag. Unfortunately, Henry is not on board with being locked down and breaks up with her. So she performs this YouTube witch hex, and the next day Henry is dead. Being questioned by the police, she finds out other information about Henry that sends her spiraling. She's trying to maintain that she's innocent, but things get very weird and very dark. So this was a lot about just messy modern dating and one's ego, playing games, performative identity, also to do with your online persona and your real life persona, obsession, especially with controlling the narrative. Witchcraft was very small, a small amount of this book. It's not as big as I was thinking it was going to be based on synopsis. A lot of female rage, but a lot of self-sabotage, bro. Our girly is fully unhinged. She really is. And I don't know, she's bordering on sociopathic perhaps as well. I ended up giving this a 3.5. It was entertaining. It ended up being more of a thriller than sort of a weird girl lit fic, which I thought it was going to be. So it ended up more going down the thriller angle. It's one of those books where you just sighing all the time whenever Lillian just digs a deeper trench and chooses the most insane choice that you can make. You're like, stop, girly, stop. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Abort. But no, she doesn't abort. She fully commits. So yeah, I ended up giving that a 3.5. Then I picked up the 4th installment of Lightfall by Tim Probert. This is a middle grade fantasy series. In this one, what can I say? We're back in this world where the light has been taken from the world and things like gods exist, and there's the last of his kind, and he's pivotal in sort of saving the day. And in this one, they're stuck in this very liminal, spooky realm, and they find out some more information. It's just, as this is progressing, we're just finding more information about the law and what's the truth and all of that sort of stuff. So this one had, as usual, found family friendship is the core of these books. They have beautiful illustration style with lovely saturated colors. This one had more about identity and self-doubt, wondering whether you really are the hero. There was also about the world, so environmental balance in a dying world, and with the liminal space, life and death, and the weird space in between was also looked at. But as usual, nothing is what it seems, and they're trying to break their way through truth versus illusion. I didn't love this one as much as the other one, so this was my least favorite installment thus far. I gave this a 3.5. I will still continue on, but you were not moving at a very fast pace. It's a very slow-going series. Then I picked up How Lucky Am I by Christian Watson. So this was an arc from NetGalley. This is a graphic novel. It is a very sort of soft, reflective, illustrated book that is following a character named Mr. Skelly as they sort of wander through life's highs and lows and learn about grief and loss and uncertainty and what makes being alive meaningful. It was just a whole lot of aphorisms about gratitude for the present moment and letting go versus holding on, finding meaning through loss, belonging, home, just a lot of existential thoughts, but very gentle. I didn't realize this was just going to be aphorisms. I thought it was an actual story. So I think my preconceived notions were incorrect. So I ended up giving it a 3.5. And I don't know, I feel like it's more suited for a younger audience, even though I don't think it's meant to be. It was okay. Beautiful illustrations, but a lot more simple than I was anticipating. And then I picked up Weeding by Geneviève Lebleu. And this is about a suburban tea party that absolutely goes fucking bonkers in the most surreal way when an old grudge walks in the back door and the host literally vanishes mid herb picking in her garden and gets taken over by the plants. Whilst all the women are sort of kind of unraveling about petty dramas and secrets and passive aggressive comments. It was listed as X-Files meets The Young and the Restless, and I can see that comparison. It also reminded me of Day of the Triffids with the plant element. The main themes in this one were of sort of social exclusion and cutting people out, both literally and metaphorically. There was a lot about female friendships and rivalry and dynamics, a bit of nostalgia for like old school domestic dynamics too, but a lot about the absurdity of social performance, like being nice versus being real. This was just a very weird and surreal book. It is absolutely a get real weird with a book. It was a bit too weird for me. I was just a bit confused and I found the plot hard to follow, and I didn't love the illustration style, so I ended up giving this a 3 stars. And then I read Imperfect Creatures by Jo Butler. So in this one, the main character Claire is coming home for her dad's funeral, but unfortunately for her, reality keeps playing different edits. She's essentially in a Groundhog Day, reliving slightly varied versions of events over the course of 3 days. In one, she hits a man and kills him. In another, she hits a deer. In another, she hits neither. And whilst she's going through these repeats, she's trying to solve this mystery involving her dad and a book that he was writing that has a lot to do with this town and the house, because the house is more than it seems, and it may be feeding on people's guilt and grief and fast-tracking dementia in those that it touches. There's also a cult that worships this house that she has to contend with, and a mysterious stranger named Jack. This was a mixed media format book. It was also separated into the 5 stages of grief, so denial, anger, bargaining, blah, blah, blah. This was like a double exposure book. You're reading 2 things layered on top of each other and then more layers and more layers. And it was very much reminding me of House of Leaves and a bit of Twin Peaks. It's very confusing the way that it was formatted. I just don't do well with that multi-layered, even visually, style. But the main theme of this book, was guilt and grief, especially grief that lingers. Also memory is a broken loop, and reality versus perception. There is obviously a cosmic horror element in this that is rooted in human guilt and suffering, as well as childhood trauma. There was, what other themes? Repetition is both a comfort and a torture in this aspect. Stories inside stories inside stories. And what ones can you trust? What's fabricated? What is real? Which is also something I don't love in books. I find the whole what's really happening thing headache inducing for me. I just want clear answers. So this wasn't really to my taste. I did give it a 3 stars, but also, don't you know the world is ending? With Daughters of the Tide by Ariana James that I was gifted as an ARC. This was a moody Tasmanian gothic that features a girl who's living in this sort of cursed seaside mansion. Her family has a history of the ocean calling their name. Is it mental illness? Is it family trauma? Or are they selkies? This didn't end up being as much about supernatural. I read almost all of it and I realized, this is more a historical inherited trauma, generational madness, female resilience kind of story than, oh, these bitches be selkies. And I was more interested in the latter than the former. And once again, it's like folklore versus reality. What's real? Are they magical? Are they not? It wasn't for me. It's just not my kind of book that I'm interested in. So I did DNF this one. Because all of the books that I have read in full have been in the 3 stars, I really want the next book to grab me by the balls. I want it to capture my attention and hold me ransom until I finish it. So I'm really looking to find something that is very exciting for me. So I'm going to go on to Westwood Women. I'm going to try that next. I have so many physical books that I can just go through them until I find the right one, because I do want a 4 to 5-star book next on the docket. So that's what I'll be going on to. I'm going out today. I've been feeling a bit weighed down by life lately, and I'm trying to like shake it off by changing my environment and doing something new. And there's this cafe that I heard of that's a sound cafe. I think you can listen to records there. So I thought I would go and check it out and just be around people, find a bit of magic in my day. So I will take you along with me for that. I grabbed a lavender, Earl Grey and chocolate chip cookie to take home. I am having an amazing day. I made my weekly quota on the stock market this morning, and then I just went to a beautiful cafe, and then I went to pay for some parking so I can do the grocery shop, and there was a ticket already paid for sitting there. What a magical, magical day. Okay, I'm back. I had 15 minutes left on that ticket, so I gave it to somebody else. So that first person that left it there helped me and another person. Passing it on. Okay, I went to the library. I picked up I Am Agatha by Nancy Foley. It says Agatha and Alice are in love. Agatha is a reclusive painter and she wants to settle down, but Alice has dementia and an obsession with her late daughter who's buried in her backyard. Woohoo! Not what I would have thought it would have been. John Scalzi, when the moon hits you, I like a big pizza pie, that's amore. The moon has turned to cheese and humanity has to deal with it. Seems like a bit of an absurd one. Then we've got A New Me by Helen Oyeyemi. Kinga is a woman who's just trying to make it through the week. Oh, King A. Because we have then King E and King A to G lives a varied life. So there's multiple kings. There's a king for every day. On Monday, King A. Okay, cool. Interesting. Then we've got Super Nintendo, How One Japanese Company Helped the World Have Fun by Keza McDonald. So it's about Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Nintendo as a company. We'll see how I feel. I just grabbed it because it's new. Femme Feral by Sam Bessinger. Ever felt ready to howl? This is obviously a female rage. 46-year-old tech exec Ellie is juggling too much. She's got perimenopause, but she's also going to turn into a werewolf, I think. And we've got Beth is Dead by Katie Burnett. Beth March has been murdered and all her sisters are suspects. Sylvie. Oh, my beautiful Sylvie. Say hello. Okay, so we've also got What Echoes in the Dark by SM. That's book 2. Have I read book 1? We'll see. I don't know if I've read book 1. We'll see. I've got to start making sure I'm not picking up sequels without having read the first one. Oh, Nova now. Nova, say hello. Say hello, Nova. Okay, we've got Palaver by Brian Washington. She got me so good, bro. With her fur. Fur bombed me. What's this about? In Tokyo, a son works as an English tutor, drinking his nights away with friends at a gay bar. He's entangled with a married man. Oof. Okay, we'll see how it goes. This might not be for me, but I just grabbed it. That's everything. Catch you soon.
Came onto my bed, and she what's it called? She came onto my bed, and she rolls over on her stomach. So I go to kiss her stomach. She starts like, what's it called, thinking at me. She's like, meow, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, why are you like came next to me? She started purring, so I moved next to her to cuddle her, and she gets up, she walks away. Like, oh, thanks. What the heck is that?
Rolls. She's rolling around. Oh my goodness. It's just too great with the sun. Isn't it, Sylvie? You just want to roll all over the sun. Oh, yawn.
My ex-mother-in-law dropped off this beautiful salad.
Hello, lovelies. My ducted heating is still very much broken, and it's going to take a week for them to come and fix it. So I'm freezing my Rastafarian ninis off. Oh my god, it's so cold. But I'm here to tell you about the last books I read for this vlog, because I am done. So what was the last book I was reading? Oh, okay, so I've read 2 more books for this vlog. So I read Eros, Philia, Agape. This is by Rachel Swirsky. This is an itty bitty book, and it is about a very rich woman who has daddy trauma, and once her pedo father passes away and she inherits a lot of moolah, she decides that she is going to build a boyfriend. And in this world, AI exists and robots exist, companion robots, and so she customizes this robot to her liking, and after living with him for a while, she decides to give him neuroplasticity and the ability to be more autonomous. So he is able to change and grow and become his own person, because she wants equality in their relationship and to build a life together. Eventually they also build a daughter, as in they select genetically a child that is compatible and they raise her. But one day their domestic bliss is upended when he has a midlife crisis. He really be a man, you know? He leaves to find himself. And so their love story turns into this very messy breakup where she's left holding the bag and their baby while he heads into the desert to, I guess, discover what selfhood for a machine means. So he decides to eschew all of his humanistic traits and be a machine. And he's, well, I can't say it's because of spoiler, but his aim eventually makes no sense of why he would go to the lengths he's going to if that was his aim. And it's like, is he going to be able to do that down the track if he's pretty much wiping himself of all memories of all of his time as a humanoid creation? Is he going to even remember he has a wife and child? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep it vague, but this bro is just going about things in a very illogical way for someone who is meant to be a genius. So the book is called Eros, Philia, Agape, which is some of the forms of love. So Greek language has different words assigned to different types of love: familial, platonic, romantic, yada yada. And so this is trying to look at love in its many forms, but it also does look at love as a form of possession and ownership. So even though she grants him autonomy and the ability to rewire his neural pathways, does she always own him because she made him? Is there always a power imbalance between creator and creation? And how much is identity tied up with autonomy? But because also he does abandon his family, he really does. He ups and abandons them. And it's harsh because it's like, dude, you are an immortal being. You are a robot who's going to live forever, probably. Why wouldn't you wait to go and have your little awakening, ego death, what have you, until your child, who is very attached to you as the primary caregiver, grows up. So he was the stay-at-home dad, and his daughter is most closely bonded to him. And so the grief for her of losing her parent, oh my God, it's hard to read. She identifies as a robot because that's what her daddy is, even though she is a human, and she doesn't understand why he's gone. He didn't give a proper explanation, and it's just like, he could have waited. He has the luxury of time. Time is of no sort of significance to him because it is endless, and therefore to this child for whom time is scarce and limited, he could have waited. But he didn't. He left her during her formative years, where now she has daddy trauma. Just like her mum, but in a different way. Obviously, one was sexual induced trauma, and this one is abandonment issues. Another sort of sub-theme in this was of roses. So they used the beauty of roses to compare to a lot of things. And he was a green thumb. And there's this moment where he throws the roses into the sea because he wants to own nothing. I don't know. There was some other, little micro themes in here, as well as like sort of alternative family structures too. I will say there's one thing I hated. So I gave this a 4 stars. There's one thing I hated in this. Oh, I hated it so much. So I've got cat hair on me. What I hated was that the woman in this has a bird. I think it was an African grey parrot who was her companion until she decided to get a husband, and then the bird becomes jealous of her romantic relationship and is not treated in the best way, and is then, mild spoiler, I'll change the view of this, she ends up putting the bird down because it's just becoming too much of a nuisance with its anger and grief towards kind of being excluded from the family now that she has a husband and a child. And it made me really fucking sad. Birds have a long lifespan, and it's just, you couldn't have found, they try to excuse the euthanasia as a compassionate act because they tried to rehome the bird with friends, but it became depressed and plucked out all its feathers and was morose. But I'm like, well, you could give it to a rehabilitation pet rescue, people who are actually qualified with dealing with animals that have been separated from their owners and are having psychological issues, instead of just going, well, we tried to give it to our friends, it didn't work, so we're just going to put it down. So yeah, I hated that aspect, but otherwise 4 stars. It was thought-provoking. And the final book that I read for this reading vlog is My Dead Book by Nate Lippens. This is, would you call this a memoir? I think you would. I didn't actually look up the genre for this, but this is about the author who is a lonely, queer, insomniac, almost 50-year-old man who drifts through memories of his very chaotic youth and his dead friends and his messy survival. He was wondering a lot of why he's still here and what that even means. So most of the book is about sort of queer survival and aging and mortality. It's about outliving your scene and your people and your past selves. A lot of his friends did pass from ODing. So drugs are featured very heavily in this book, as well as his experience as a gay sex worker. So that is also in here. He doesn't shy away from showing the more ugly sides of himself and his life. So yeah, I don't know if it's true, obviously, but he does write about how he and a friend did rob a dead man in an alleyway and the like, and the not just promiscuous, but sort of sometimes the very high risk-taking behavior that they partook in, especially in regards to one's own safety. I'm not rating this one. This is just one of those books that I just don't feel like I can rate. Oh God, now I'm going to answer the door looking like this. Hold on. Okay, that was my ex-boyfriend. He'd actually borrowed one of my portable heaters previously, so He was bringing it back to me so that I can use it since I'm cold. But it's loud as fuck, so I'm not going to turn it on. This is my mum's one. A very old school. You know, but I was fucking freezing, so I needed something to tide me over so that the kids and I can at least be in like 1 or 2 warm rooms. Because the house is currently 17 degrees as a whole, and that's with this heater was running all morning. What was I going to say? I don't rate these kinds of books, but it was interesting to read about. So let me sum up all the books I read in this reading vlog. So I read A Good Person by Kirsten King, which I gave 3.5 stars, from situationship to crime scene. Lightfall, A Place Between by Tim Probert, which I gave 3.5 stars. Besties separated by plot, reunited by death. Kind of. How Lucky Am I by Christian Watson, which I gave 3.5 stars. Cozy Sadness meets inspirational aphorisms. Weeding by Geneviève Lebleu, I gave this 3 stars. She just went to pick herbs and got emotionally weeded. Imperfect Creatures by Butler, I gave this 3 stars. She came home for a funeral and got stuck in a guilt narrative. Eros, Philia, Agape by Swirsky, which I gave 4 stars. Is this my favorite read of the vlog? I guess it was. He's not ghosting. He's firmware upgrading his soul. And then the final book I read was My Dead Book by Nate Lippens. Cock Around the Clock. Those were all the books that I read for this reading vlog. Let me know one of your most used aphorisms down below. If you have one, I think I always say, it is what it is. I think that's one of the ones I use the most. And if you don't know what to comment, but you want to let me know that you were here and you were watching, leave me a skeleton emoji for How Lucky Am I. And until next time, stay wild, Star Child.